Hi guys, today's video is all about crude oil prices and I'm going to talk about three things. First, how are crude oil prices determined? Second, what are the current trends in the international and the domestic market? And third, how our economy impacted by it. So to begin with, crude oil prices are determined not entirely by the demand and supply theory concept, but are actually set by the futures contract, with the oil futures contract, which is a kind of a binding agreement where one holds the right to purchase at a specified date and time in the future and prices definitely. And there are two type of commodity traders here. One is the hedger, for example, the airline company who like to hedge them from the risk of rising inflation. And second are the speculators who kind of speculate the prices and set the price directions. And there are two type of influencers for crude oil prices as well. One is US and the second are the Organization of Oil Exporting Nations comprising of 13 countries such as Iran, Iraq, Venezuela, UAE, Nigeria, Angola, among others. I just mentioned them in no particular order. And now, the price determinants of oil prices. One is the demand, second is the supply and future supply from oil exporting nation, which is very important since oil exporting nations have a control over 40% of world supply of oil. Now, moving on to the second part of our video, which is the current trends. So, in terms of current trends, crude oil prices have seen a lot of upward trends in the past 1.5 year. Like in June 2017, crude oil prices rose from around $44 per barrel low to around $87 per dollar, which is a kind of per barrel, which is kind of a huge number, like 97% increase. And the reasons could be linked to disruptions in the supply from oil exporting nations, sanctions and quotas, and yeah, trade wars, geopolitical tensions, a lot of other stuff. And but now since since past 3-4 months the prices have kind of moderated, and now since I've like giving you a watch of 30 days watch, crude oil prices like fell by 30% to lesser than $60 per barrel. And this is a very good news for us, like the nation like us, since we are major consumers of oil. We import like around 80% of oil, and this is very important for us. And this is seen on the current prices, petrol and diesel prices, like in the since past 30 days, prices fell like by 10%, which is very important for us. And good news, crude oil prices for petrol and diesels are going to fall again because oil companies take like a overnight basis like a 15 days average for calculating petrol and diesel prices, so we are expecting more fall. Anyways, moving on to the third part, which is what are the impacts on an economy? What we actually want? We definitely want lower prices since we are importing. And so, the current scenario, lower price inflation, this helps in lower imported inflation. Thus, lower overall inflation and lower subsidy costs, lower transportation costs, thus improve welfare of people because they have more to consume for themselves now. And thus, this also help in the stabilization of rupee, and thus also have a lesser pressure on RBI to increase the rates, which is like since past two policy, RBI was kind of, they have to increase the rates because there were a lot of inflation. And this was one of the major factor, like crude oil prices rise, that they have to increase the interest rate and they move from neutral to calibrated. So let's see how the impact is seen in the current, in the next policy, which is about to come. And yeah, another thing which need to be kept in mind here is crude oil prices, fall in crude oil prices thus helps overall economic growth because this lead to lower inflation, thus makes our economy more for net capital flows in our economy, and thus overall investments, and yeah, make us like more profitable. And economic growth, as I said, boost the economy. And another thing, yeah, last, which I like I mentioned, it also need to be clear that crude oil prices are not set entirely by the international, but the state government as well, because there are a lot of excise duties and VAT here, and you must be looking at GST, which is the thing which is still not, petrol and diesel are not under this. So yeah, today's video is all about this thing, and I know it was very heavy. And in case you have any doubts, just let me know, and let's do economics. Like, subscribe, and share.